I think we're live. Hello, if anyone is out there. I don't think we have anyone yet. So it's Tom O'Brien here, the Mental Health Herbalist, bringing you a live chat, questions and answers, opportunity for you to ask some questions of me. Let me know in the comments there if the sound is okay. I'm not sure. It's my first time running a live stream off the webcam. I've done it before off a software system, so this was a bit rockier, as I should have tested it. I only decided to do this today. So sounds good. Thanks, Teresa Sorrel. Thank you. Probably pronounced that wrong. So I thought I'd do a live stream today because they're becoming more popular and people like the engagement with people in live time. Chance to ask questions. Hi, Sana Everett. Hi. So drop a question in the comments there if you have a question. It can be anything about me, about herbal medicine. We're going to try and keep this light enough tonight, but we can cover different topics. I have a few notes here of areas I might cover, some questions that come up in the comments before. So I don't see any questions there at the moment. So basically, yeah, a little bit about my background. I became a herbalist in 2012, so it's not too many. Well, it's 8 years ago now, and I've been practicing part-time as a herbalist. So what do you know about herbs that cause miscarriage or abortion? Wow, that's a pretty heavy question to be getting into. There's a whole area of herbal medicine. In general, we are very cautious using herbs if people are pregnant. So I wouldn't use any herbs unless you get advice from a herbalist. But that might be a topic for a video. I'd have to do a bit of research off the top of my head. There are herbs, of course, that would be dangerous ones that cause movement. And so we won't get into that one. I'm sorry about that. But I was just saying there about my background, getting into herbal medicine. I was working in addiction, managing an addiction project, and I saw the overuse of medicine, trying to help people who were addicted, and I found that it wasn't very effective. I mean, people are prescribed one tablet on top of another. Okay, someone there has an article. You can share that article in the comments if you can for others. Or if you want me to do a video on that topic, very happy to. But it's probably a bit intense one for my first. Well, it's not my first live stream, but for this one, I'm not so prepared maybe. But yeah, I mean, one of my main reasons to becoming a herbalist was a friend of mine died, Joe, very good friend, and I kind of needed something to help me deal with the grief, and I was looking for a course. I could have done anything. So I decided to do a bit of research and came across this course in herbal medicine. I'd always been interested in natural healing. Hi, Fiona. There's somebody in my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group, what's it called? Herbal Medicine Ireland. And Fionnuala, sorry, I said Fiona. Fionnuala is one of the members there. So she's just said that she's made a plantain balm with coconut oil and coconut butter. I have a rash in my arms and 4 hands. So maybe it's from too much sun. Well done, Fionnuala. It's always great to make something. It's something I love about herbal medicine, the whole aspect of making tinctures, making balms, making creams, making powders. You know, you get down and dusty into the herbs. And it's something I don't get enough time to do because I have another job, a day job to pay the bills. And but definitely, that sounds really nice, plantain balm. So basically what you're trying to do is get the medicinal qualities of the herb into a substance of which you can use it. And that can be alcohol, which is used to extract many of the medicinal qualities of herbs through extraction, and the herbs then are strained off, and you're left with a tincture. So tinctures are really good, but a balm or a cream is another really good way of getting herbs into you through the skin. The skin is the largest organ in the body, and it has that capacity to absorb, and herbs through balms will be absorbed very quickly. And I've seen some great results with comfrey. Comfrey is a powerful healing herb for skin and for tissue. It's what's called a cell proliferant, which basically means it makes cells grow very fast, which is important in healing. And as a result, then it helps heal burns, scar tissue, any skin issues. It's great. So let me see. Why are you ignoring my messages? Sanha, what's your message? What's your message? Hi. Oh, sorry. Sanha. Is that how you pronounce it? Sanha, am I correct? Is that your room? It looks beautiful. Yeah, this is it's a real room. It's not a green screen. My bookshelf over here, and couch in the background. Yeah, this is my living room. Kitchen over there to the right or left, I'm not sure. When I was setting up this live stream this evening, I wasn't sure. I assumed it would be bright enough. It's summertime in Ireland, but then I had to set up some lights. You'll see the lights there reflecting my glasses, and so I have some lights there. So that's where I am. Do you think it might help rosacea? It breaks out. I mean, rosacea is a really, sorry, am I pronouncing it correctly? Rosacea. Rosacea is a very difficult skin issue to treat. My partner suffered from it for a while, and she made a recovery by discovering what foods act, in terms of digestion. It was basically kind of the principle of fire is one of the principles of Ayurvedic medicine, which is not something I'm trained in, but she does Ayurvedic massage, and they have the principle of fire, earth, and air, and they're different elements, so different doshas they're called, and the doshas, then we all have a different dominant dosha. I'm probably a kapha pitta, earth and fire. So if you find the foods, I think rosacea is a fire in the gut, fire in the body. It's heating, and histamine is a heating action. So you got to find foods that are low in histamine, and that's it. But it's certainly anything that soothes the skin. Nurturing oils and balms and creams, natural ones, will help the skin, but you've got to deal with digestion issues, because that's really a key issue. What's happening, the digestion can be sluggish, and can be a factor in slow healing. Would be lovely if you could heal it faster. Birth control, even when you make a tea from it. Yeah, plantain. Comfrey, yeah. So comfrey, symphytum, comfrey, yeah. That's it. I was mentioning earlier the cell proliferant. So hope that helps, Fanula. Definitely, nurturing the skin will help, but I think big thing is looking at psycho-emotional issues for rosacea. It's a very psycho-emotional skin condition, linked to foods as well, obviously. But you would need to, look holistically. I mean, it's. I know people that suffer from it, and they would all like a quick solution, but there isn't a quick solution. And it's one of the things about herbal medicine; it doesn't offer quick solutions. It's holistic. We treat the whole person, and treating the whole person, we hope to heal any underlying issues. So Sana, you have a point there about OCD, and I've started taking ashwagandha. Listen to your recommendations. It's been just 2 days now. I think most of these symptoms are increasing. Okay, continue having ashwagandha. Should I? Yeah, I mean, 2 days is nothing in terms of herbal medicine. You want to be taking ashwagandha for at least 2 or 3 weeks, but I'd recommend take it for 6 weeks at least. Maybe even a bit longer. You could take it for 12 weeks. And again, it's an example of you're not going to get rapid, fast, what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for is miracle cures or rapid healing, as is promised by biomedicine. It's one of the mythologies of medicine, and Western medicine, allopathic medicine promises people fast cures, magic pills, and it doesn't always end, in fast cures. It ends with side effects and then needing other medications and so forth. So don't, if you're suffering from any health issue and you want a fast cure, herbal medicine is not the approach. Herbal medicine is about restoring balance in the body, helping the body heal itself. The body will heal itself. Herbs help to nudge the body back into balance, as in ashwagandha. It's an adaptogen herb, very useful after illness or stress, helps the body to adapt and return to good health. Homeostasis, that's the word. It's a state of being that the body is in all the time, a natural state of homeostasis. And in that state, it'll remain healthy. And if it goes out of balance, then we try to get it back into balance. So yeah, continue taking the ashwagandha. But OCD is, I think OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, is really a thinking disorder. I don't talk about disorders, so why should I use a disorder? But it's anxiety, social anxiety, and obsessive compulsive thinking and behaviors they're psycho-emotional. There's two things going on. One is we're either not in touch with what we're feeling, and we're driven by our thoughts, and we believe everything our thoughts say. So we kind of follow our thoughts compulsively. So I'm leaving the house, and did I lock the door, or should I go back and check? I'll go back and check. I locked it. And being obsessive about not trusting yourself, and having obsessive thoughts that lead you to, I don't know, lead you to believe that your thoughts are the most important thing, and they're not. Your emotions are equally as important, and that's where the root of OCD is. It's in our emotions. So we're suffering at an emotional level, and our thoughts. It's a separation of the brain, and so now I understand completely, and I'm in touch with my thoughts. Good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about you specifically, but in general, we have separated. Throughout history, we've separated ourselves at a physical level from a psychological, emotional level, and from a spiritual level. And so we give the spirituality to the priests and the monks and spiritual healers. We give the physical to the doctors to heal us physically, and we give the psychological, emotional to our psychological people, therapists and counselors and psychiatrists. But we're not separated. We're one unified being. And until we live out of that unification of ourself, and so we need to discover it. It's the life's journey, is to discover what is the purpose of life, what is life about, how, what is the meaning of my life, why am I here, what am I doing, what makes me happy. But sometimes we exist in a dualistic space where we're living like our thoughts are separate from our emotions, and our emotions are separate from our body. So we tend to suppress painful emotions or uncomfortable emotions, and that can lead us then to be compulsive. Maybe I'm not explaining it very well, but I've been becoming more interested in meditation. I meditate every day. I use the Insight Timer app. It's a great app on the phone, and it's a whole community of people let's get out of this here. That's the app there, Insight Timer app. And I use that app to meditate every day. It encouraged me to maintain my meditation practice. And with that, then I've been, a follower, watching YouTube videos of Ram Dass and Moji and Papaji and others that help us focus on the here and now and not, it's getting out of the thinking mind. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is that Western culture is obsessed with the thinking mind, and it believes thinking should override feelings or physical, existence. But to become whole and healthy, we have to integrate our thoughts with our whole being. And beyond our thoughts is where being exists. We think existence begins with our thinking. It's really not. It's our ego. It's just who we are in our thinking. Our thinking is not who we are. It's just a part of the process. We have to get deeper into our being, and that's what meditation does. And that's, I think, the path for certainly for OCD is get out of thinking. Stop thinking. Do things that help you to stop thinking. So meditation is one thing. Body work is another. Massage, reflexology, getting into nature, ecotherapy, whatever you call it. Grounding, earthing. Somebody posted something today, and Siobhan actually in the herbal medicine group, all about earthing. We have become unearthed, and we need to reconnect with ourselves and the earth. So Sana, you loads of comments here. Well done, thank you. Now I understand completely. I'm touching my thoughts. Doctors are nothing but just money-making business. Well, the business of medicine is a model that has encouraged doctors to comply. I think medicine is very much it's very tightly bound culture, and doctors have to work within that culture. I don't want to get into critiquing medicine tonight because I've done a lot of it and continue to critique medicine. But herbalists also need to make money. We need to make a living. But we're not tied to the pharmaceutical industry, and we are concerned with our patients. There are a lot of good doctors out there that are as well. But unfortunately, medicine is tied to the pharmaceutical industry. It has a huge influence over how doctors are trained, in what medicines they use, in the research publications. If you don't publish your research, if you don't do research, and how the things you have to say, you have to bow to the discourse and agree with everything. If you challenge it, you don't succeed in medicine. We suppress our internal emotions. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. Yeah, talking there about suppressing emotions. So, if you have a bad experience, our bodies are designed to cope with painful experiences by suppressing them. So where, you're out in the street, you're attacked by a group of people, physically, emotionally, you're scarred, but your body goes into survival mode and you have to survive in that moment. So you suppress the trauma. You can't just deal with the trauma in the moment that it's happening. So we're designed to cope and survive in that way. But as a result, we can end up carrying a lot of trauma and a lot of suppressed emotions from a lifetime of negative experiences if we haven't had the healthy relationships that help us to heal. We need healthy relationships to help us heal, to be heard by people, to be connected by people. We need to be socially connected, and it's a great way to heal trauma. There's a lot of ways you can heal emotional trauma through psychotherapy, talking to people on a one-to-one. You can use herbs to help relax the nervous system. I'd recommend massage is a great way to take care of the body once a month. Go for acupuncture, do body work, go for swimming, hydrotherapy, walking in the forests. As I said earlier, there's so many natural ways to heal. Dance and music and creativity and writing and imagination. Really got to seek freedom and express yourself creatively and imaginatively to experience yourself in freedom. So, looking where can I start? How can I start with meditation? So meditation is difficult because what people find when they start meditation is their thoughts come into their mind, and the thoughts become the dominant force. So they're thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner, or what somebody said to them an hour ago, or a situation at work. So meditation is becoming aware that we are a thinking being and thoughts pass. And if you get into meditation, you begin to practice the kind of idea that they're just thoughts passing. So I'm now aware that I'm feeling angry, or I'm aware that I'm feeling desire, or I'm aware that I'm distracted. And in those distractions, I began to describe them as doorways. So they're either doorways that need to be opened, that we're afraid to go through, and the only way to go through these doorways is to be in stillness and no thinking. This is a complete opposite way to our Western way of understanding life. We understand that we have to think, understand everything before we really do it, before we value it. But in meditation, it's not. Thinking is the least valuable thing. So obviously body awareness, becoming aware of our body, doing body scans, following our breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in love, breathing out fear, listening to music, guided meditations. There are many different ways to get into meditation. So it's definitely worth a try, Sana. Fionnuala, so we have a nice, calm, chilled out voice. Oh, I have. Thank you, Fionnuala. I've been heard that said before, and yeah, it's. I suppose we have to find our voice, and I sometimes think my voice is too low or too calm. I don't assert myself more, or it should be more stronger. When you make YouTube videos, you're supposed to be more animated and more hyper, and I tend to be very low. And but I think it's about accepting that. Please keep up the good work, as I don't listen to any negative criticism. I would prefer to take a herb any day in Big Pharma. Yeah, I mean, one of the things, I mean, I'd be quite critical of pharma, because I did my PhD thesis on critiquing the medical model of addiction, which is basically addiction. If you have an addiction in Ireland or in Western Europe, or probably any part of the world, you're going to be treated with medication. And those medications are equally as addictive, like methadone and Valium and Zimavane, a sleeping tablet. So I have lots of reasons and lots of good background research to critique the medical model, but I'm trying to be more focused on staying in a positive zone. Ram Dass, love everybody method, and try and stay away from negative ways of thinking about things. Now, I think also it strikes me about Donald Trump. I don't know, do we have anyone from the States watching? But Donald Trump is a symbol of his people. It's not just Donald Trump. There are people who support him and think like him. And the whole Black Lives Matter movement, we have divided each other against people. We're division, whether it be dividing color against color, or race against race, or Republicans against Democrats, or in Ireland we have Fianna Fáil against Fine Gael. I don't think it's very helpful. We need to understand other people. Someone has a question there about sheep sorrel. I actually have sheep sorrel here. I haven't used it. I bought it for a client that was recovering from cancer, I think, and it's part of a remedy along with two other herbs. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'll make a note of doing a video on sheep sorrel. It's good to see people asking about herbs that aren't really that well known. I'm taking herb at the moment. I think of the name of it. Manahishka. It's an Indian herb. It's an Ayurvedic herb that cleanses the blood, and I'm planning to do a video on that. But sheep sorrel, I'll do something on that. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I do believe it's a very strong herb in a formula for people recovering from cancer, and I think that's a good thing. Cancer is one of those red flags in herbal medicine that, you know, if you say you have a cure for cancer, nobody should say that anyway, because cancer is a condition in the body that is basically the body's in crisis, and there's no one way to cure cancer. It's the body cures cancer. We provide herbs that help them recover. So sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the comments here. So I'm always daydreaming. Nikki River name. I'm always daydreaming. Daydreaming is not a bad thing. Daydreaming is good. You know, I think we need to trust our intuition. We need to trust our emotions, and we need to trust our bodies. There's body wisdom, there's emotional wisdom, there's intuitive wisdom, and dreams at night and daydreams are messages within ourselves, our psychic, our collective psychic, and they're really important to listen to. They tell us a lot about ourselves, so you should listen to your daydreaming. There can be ways of medicating, self-medicating, coping, self-soothing, distracting ourselves with thoughts of comfort. Fionnuala, I can't meditate as my thoughts keep coming into mind. Well, that's a classic problem, Fionnuala, on meditation, as I mentioned earlier. So you can't stop your thoughts. You have to just accept that they're going to come in, and that they are signs and signals of, you know, it's like a metal detector. You know, they're telling you that something needs attention. But meditation is a chance to stop giving attention to those things. That'll be there after you finish meditation. So I'm meditating constantly now for 2 years, and I still have thoughts coming, you know, into my mind that distract me. So you have to accept the thoughts and just let them pass like clouds, and just keep coming back to the breath. Keep coming back to the breath. Ram Dass has a lovely meditation. You know, he talks about breathing in. Breathing in love and just going deeper into the body, and breathing out. And so practice, use an app that will guide you, you know, it'll remind you that you have to meditate every day. It'll keep a record of how often you meditate. It'll help you to discipline yourself. Start with 5 minutes a day. Start with 3 minutes, start with 2 minutes. And really, the important thing about meditation is it's like to give the body a break, to give the mind a break, to come into the body. I actually find I generally meditate sitting or sometimes kneeling on my meditation mat, but I sometimes actually better meditating on my back, lying on the floor. You feel very grounded. So you got to find what makes you comfortable, and stay in the body. So listening to sounds, following your breath, and yeah. Not easy, but practice. I'll maybe do a session on meditation, or a video on meditation. So you don't have to be hyper. Your aura is very soothing. Thank you, Sana. My aura is soothing. I don't know. I don't read auras, but thank you for that. If it's soothing. Thank you. I feel better knowing that, Nikki. Great. Yeah, no, daydreaming is good. Walking in nature is a great way to live in the moment. And my newfound foraging. Yeah, Fionnuala, walking in nature is meditation. Doing crafts can be meditation. People argue it's not meditation, it's doing crafts. But anything that absorbs you in the moment, use that as a meditation. Walking meditation, eating meditation, becoming aware, becoming present. Anything that makes you content and happy. Meditation is really a practice of many practices that we need in order to help us to stay rooted. And so, Raw Milk for Life, thank you for your comment. Hello, I follow carnivore diet for 2 years, and I was doing well mentally till I went through a breakup. And I see my mental health decline now. What can I do, sir? I need help. Carnivore diet. So for 2 years, I was doing well mentally till I went through a breakup. Well, a breakup is a major loss. And the first thing you can do is find somebody who you can talk to, a good friend that will listen to us with compassion and empathy, And you can go to a professional if you can as well, a psychotherapist. I've gone to many good psychotherapists to deal with different issues over the years. And I always like talking to people who can listen with compassion, empathy, to help us to figure out how to recover. The other thing to help us when we go through a breakup is acceptance. What's her name? Kubler-Ross is a famous Kubler-Ross. I think she's a German. If you Google 5 stages of grief, grief when we lose somebody in a relationship, it can be any type of loss. We go through different stages, and one of the stages is denial. Forgetting that it happened or it doesn't impact on us. But by accepting that, acceptance is another important stage. When we get to the acceptance stage, we accept it's happened and we then tend to let go. But in the beginning stages, we're angry. That's another stage, anger, denial. And then there's a bargaining stage where we begin to say, okay, maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe I have something to learn or so forth. But it's natural to go through life and to experience losses. People die, people leave us, we leave people. And dealing with loss is really difficult, but you have to get emotional, psychological support. You have to talk to somebody. You need to connect with people. And you need to understand that we are free people. We are free beings. And we should be in relationships that are free, where we're free to love and free to be in love and free to be loved and so forth. And that people are entitled to leave us. That's the hard reality. Relationships are not easy, and we need to nurture relationships, and we need to support our relationships. We need to support them with care and love and kindness and humility. Sometimes our own ego can take over, and ego is just about me. Relationships are about we. So moving from I to we, to us. So relationships, I hope that helps a little bit. So I talked to my friend and my mother, things like, yeah, it's good. Have friends. I bought a book there recently. It's called Together, and shared it on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm Mental Health Herbalist on Instagram. I post stuff there. It's a book called Together, and it's by the previous Surgeon General, the top doctor in America. And he's talking about loneliness as being more dangerous than smoking. So we know that smoking is bad for our health, but loneliness is more dangerous, and we're living in an epidemic of loneliness. People without social connections, or with weak relationships, or fragile relationships, or without very few relationships. And to be healthy, we need to be socially connected. We need to be socially connected to each other, and especially to close friends and family. There was a famous book written one time called The Three Loves. Carl Lewis wrote the book, The Three Loves, the 3 different types of love, and friendship being one of those. We need intimacy and social connection. Without that, we suffer. And if we're disconnected socially and we lose a friend or a partner, we can feel more vulnerable. So it can be very difficult to meet new people. So I would encourage people to, if you're not feeling connected, to try and find a group. I love studying and going to courses, and it's a great way to meet people, like-minded people, meet new people, new friends. It's very important. Raw milk, do that. Raw milk, I'm not sure, Sanha, what you mean by raw milk, but I'm a big fan of raw milk because raw milk is a natural probiotic. I grew up on a dairy farm of cows in Wicklow, and we're reared on raw milk. I used to have to go over to the dairy to bring milk over to the house every morning or evening. And I never had any issues with dairy. They say a lot of the issues with dairy are a result of milk being pasteurized and homogenized. So it's the heating of the milk that damages the enzymes and the natural probiotic power of raw milk is. So I used to buy to make my own kefir. Kefir is fantastic. kefir milk. People pronounce it kefir. I think it's kefir. Kefir milk is it's made with raw milk, and it's with these grains that are a source of good bacteria. So it's fermented milk. And when I used to take it, I actually used to feel nearly a buzz in my brain. And I was away on holidays, and I ignored the grains, and they didn't do well after that. So I stopped making it. But it's one of the things I'd love to get back to again, making my own kefir. Do you believe in water fasting, that abstaining from, so work 63? Yeah, I'm currently doing a bit of fasting myself at the moment. I'm trying to lose a bit of weight from the coronavirus lockdown, and I'm doing a lot of walking. But so I'm fasting from the point of view sugar fasting. I had some prunes there earlier to get a bit of sweetness, but I'm a real sugar addict. Is my big weakness. Lots of weaknesses, but sugar is my big one. I'm not that crazy. I mean, I don't eat processed sugar, but I like a piece of cake, homemade cake, apple tarts, raw chocolate or dark chocolate at least. So fasting is definitely something that's good for our health. We are, I think, over-consuming. We're eating too much, so we're over-consuming. Food has become a comforting kind of substance. It's not necessarily about being hungry or being nurtured physically, but we use food socially for lots of different ways. So fasting is proven, scientifically proven, historically, traditionally. Fasting is something we should all be doing. Traditionally, in Ireland, we used to fast on a Friday. I think we used to only eat fish on a Friday. Now fish is a luxury, and you could eat fish every day. It's great for your to get those omega-3s in. But definitely, I'd be a fan of fasting. But I haven't done any, 1 day fasting lately. Maybe something I should think about. Definitely, because it deepens us into our body. It deepens us into our emotions. So when you're, using food for emotional, as I do, sugar is my emotional comfort food, help me to deal with stress. So if you take that away for a day or a month, you're facing into it. I like the concept of leaning into bitterness. So for me, the sugar is my way of leaning out of bitterness into sweetness. So I lean into sweetness because I want the sweetness, but it's to sweeten my bitterness. I'm not a bitter person, but we all have bitter emotions or experiences or stresses or worries or concerns that we don't want to experience. Because if we did experience them, we'd be probably all enlightened and liberated and very whole people. Thanks, Fanula. She's heading off. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. So leaning into bitterness is leaning into the emotions and the feelings in ourselves that we need to in order to experience our own pain. If we don't experience our own pain, it's become suppressed, a layer of toxic emotions that will drive us, direct our thoughts. That's why emotions have an impact on our thoughts, because our thoughts are being driven by, it's if the emotions are in the driving seat. We don't see it, but we think we're in control with our thoughts, but it's the emotions that are driving our behaviors. And by becoming aware of our emotions and befriending our emotions, emotional intelligence, we become freer and more at peace. So yeah, definitely fasting is good. So yeah, abstaining from food can help us heal. Yes, abstaining from food is an important part of healing, especially foods that we eat too much of. So if we eat too much bread, fast for bread for a day. If you eat too much dairy products, fast from dairy products. The body needs a break, because food that's not absorbed becomes toxic, and that makes us sick. What does that mean? It's like if you eat too much cheese, too much dairy, it builds up in our system in terms of mucus. There's a whole concept of mucusless diet, which is a diet that is easier to digest, which is a plant-based food primarily, is easier to digest. And it's important in this day and age because of well, in the Western diet, we're so dominated by grains and dairy and bread and pasta, and so we do need to abstain from foods and to give ourselves a break. And that's why, when I started this journey of healing, first when I started in 2008 studying herbal medicine, I started giving up certain foods, doing detoxes from dairy and from sugar, and I gave up meat for a while. And I think I had off the treatum at one stage, and I used to get fierce pains in my head, like thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get a brain tumor. But no, it was just the body decleansing. And so I'd always recommend people to give a break, to take a break from meat for a while. Any foods that you eat a lot of that are processed foods or, hard to digest, a small bit of meat is fine. But if you eat a lot of meat, give it up for a week, give it up for a month. In Ireland, we have a tradition in the Christian Catholic tradition that I'm based in, of Lent, which is 40 days before Easter. And the idea is that we'd give up something. A lot of people used to give up sugar during Lent. And I don't take sugar in tea, basically. I don't take sugar in my tea. Actually, I'm drinking a nettle tea here. I forgot all about it. Nettles that I harvested locally and dried them, and I have them there in the kitchen. So yeah, important to fast, important to fast on certain foods. It's important to give the body a chance to detox and cleanse. The body can become stagnant, and we need to cleanse. And that cleansing, you'll feel the cleansing. It's like the body's removing material that's there for a while, and you're going to feel it in different ways. So that's what we call a healing crisis. In herbal medicine, we understand symptoms. So if somebody is sick, they have symptoms. And those symptoms ultimately are the body's way of telling you that it's out of balance. And if you don't listen to the symptoms, if you don't listen to your body, if you don't respond early to small symptoms, then these symptoms become bigger, and the body will stop us ultimately in death if we don't listen. So by listening to the symptoms, we can begin to heal at a micro level rather than waiting for us to get too sick. I missed my comment above. Sana, raw milk, what was their comment? Not sure what comment I missed there, Sana. I think I missed it. Are doctors there first to help people? You might just drop another question there if you have a question. So abstaining from food, yeah. Raw milk, thank you, sir. I use CBD oil, THC free, so it helped me sleep, but it didn't help at all. Okay. Well, CBD oil, I think, is one of the great medicines that the nature has given us. This is the cannabinoid alkaloid extracted from the cannabis plant. There's two, the THC, and is one of the alkaloids most known to give us a high. And the CBD is the other alkaloid in cannabis that is giving us a relaxing, calming experience for anxiety and sleep. And I would take it to help me sleep sometimes, or to deepen my sleep, or to help me have a better sleep. But if you took cannabis, you didn't sleep. Sleep is a great way of, not being able to sleep, I think, is a great way of realizing what we need to listen to, because it's the thoughts, again, that are disturbing our sleep, are telling us we want attention. This needs attention. If we don't give the thing that's bothering us our attention, then it will continue to bother us. Now, it could be that you have no control over the situation. Like, you could have lost your job, or your relationship is broke up, and these thoughts come into your mind at night. But what it's doing is it's telling you to give attention to these these thoughts. If we don't attend to the things that awaken us, that wake us, that keep us awake, it will remain the same. Or we end up, finding other ways to sleep that might not be healthy, alcohol or food, or not getting enough sleep. So remember that what wakes us, keeps us awake at night, needs attention. And just taking CBD isn't necessarily going to work if you're not attending to your sleep. I think people, a bird just hit the window. Oh my God. I wonder, is that a sign from the universe? Poor bird, I hope it's okay. We need to listen to, there's Ayurveda joining us. Welcome, Ayurveda. Good to have you here. So what I was saying there is, if we don't give attention to things that keep us awake, they will continue to keep us awake. And there are other doorways into helping us realize what we need to face. So if you're having problems sleeping, you've got to start addressing those problems from the minute that you wake up in the morning. So making sure you have good sleep means you need to have movement, exercise, you need psychological well-being, you need, what else do you need? You need good diet, you need social purpose, you need a lot of things. These are signs, opportunities to address the deeper problems that are causing us to stay awake. So lactose intolerant, lactose intolerant, people have lactose intolerance. It's a condition where they have symptoms as a result of milk and uncomfort and bad digestion and so forth. I think milk is probably one of the most poisonous foods that we have. It's a beautiful food, that milky substance of milk. Raw milk, I think, is different, but the problems with milk is when it's pasteurized. And of course, it needs to be pasteurized. Mass production of milk is the idea of supplying milk to a large population. You need to get rid of tuberculosis and any other pathogens. And that can be important, but raw milk is a for me. Sorry if you're a vegan, but I would support raw milk. Abstaining from food. So where are we now? Raw milk. I love raw milk, and I drink. All I drink is raw milk. That's great. Raw milk for sure. That's in the title of your channel. Raw milk for life. Yeah, definitely raw milk is great. Nikki's a vegan. Sorry about that, Nikki. I respect vegans. I'm not a vegan myself, and I think we need to be tolerant of each other. And I would hope more people move towards a vegan diet. I would say mine is moving in that direction, but I'm not a vegan, but vegans are teaching us a lot about food. Vegans are doing a very important job in the world in terms of bringing us in the direction of, more sustainable food. The whole food chain is a whole other topic, but I'll leave that one there. It's kind of political. Susanna, is it good to have bitter emotions and experiences that makes us free? It's good to have bitter. That's a question. It's good to have bitter emotions and experiences that makes us free. Okay, so maybe the point I was trying to make is that the way we've been conditioned is that certain emotions are nice. Happy emotions, kindness, goodness, care, love, joy, gratitude. These are all nice emotions, and we like to experience them. But not all emotions are so nice. So as mentioned earlier, if you lose a relationship, it can lead to feeling anger, rage, shame, guilt. And these are the emotions that become toxic because we don't deal with them, we don't process them, we don't experience them, we suppress them. So the idea of experiencing your own, whatever your own bitterness is, everybody has some bitterness. I'm bitter, disappointed about life, disappointed about my government, disappointed about my family, disappointed about my employer. Disappointment is a form of bitterness. It's the bitter, and bitter is good. I'm not saying bitter is bad. The bitter is good. It's just that we have been conditioned only to feel good emotions, and that's why we have this term negative emotions. I don't like the term negative emotions because I think all emotions are good. Anger is a great emotion. Anger motivates us to respond. Anger is not violence. It's not aggression. It's not hurting people. Anger is my body feeling an emotion, a sensation about situation that I need to listen to and think about. Anger is a healthy way of listening to the body. The body is feeling anger, and it tells us change direction. It tells us to protect myself. It tells us that this is not a safe situation. So we need to experience anger. Anger is not a negative emotion. It's a good emotion. It's only negative when we don't experience it, because when we repress it, that's anger is very much associated with people's behaviors. So in people's behaviors, if somebody is aggressive, we say they're angry. I don't think they're angry. I think they're just aggressive. I don't support people being aggressive. I support people being aware of their emotions, which is called emotional intelligence. So I hope that Sana answers that question. And by being free, allowing ourselves to experience who we are in our depths, we find freedom in our deeper being, not in our thinking self. Our thinking self is our ego, and there's limited happiness to be found by our ego, because it's always something else to make us sad or disappointed in life. Plants for every need, food and medicine, beauty. Nikki River Nain. Plants for every need, food, medicine, beauty. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. What are your thoughts on melatonin from Anonymous? Melatonin is that neurotransmitter that we need to sleep. It's produced, it's melatonin. There's artificial forms of it, but you really want the body to be producing its own melatonin. And they say that the blue light, which is from computers and screens and artificial lighting, is something that interferes with our melatonin. So you can work on trying to make sure you have low lights, soft lighting at night. Make sure you sleep in dark rooms, and there are foods as well probably would help. So social work, I'm intending to do a 40-day water fast for spiritual awakening. Great. To vibrate at a higher level. What are your go-to herbs when fasting? P.S. Have you tried the herbs Yellow Dog or Sleepy Elm views? Okay, social work 63. I haven't done any major fasting. A 40-day water fast for spiritual awakening sounds like a challenging thing to do. I wish you well on that, to vibrate at a higher level. I've moved away from the higher low vibration, or higher lower, higher being good, lower being bad. It's kind of that idea that lower emotions, higher emotions, we can sometimes, to get to a higher level in ourselves, we might want to get away from ourselves. So awakening is found in our root chakra, in all our chakras, crown chakra. So be careful, or be aware maybe that I know what you mean. We want to vibrate at a higher level. We want a better frequency, and we want to awaken spiritually, and that's referred to higher level. But we need to, I think, some ideas about the body being bad and the body being the source of our problems. Our spirituality has to be embodied. If we vibrate at a higher level but we're not compassionate, what's the point of being? Who's saying you're vibrating at a higher level? And so it's important to, any type of spiritual awakening has to be through our body, through the here and now. It can't be getting away from the body. The body is our sanctuary, the sanctuary of the spirit, and we need to take care of the body. I think it's one of the greatest epidemics we face is our lack of self-compassion, our lack of self-care, because we're all orientated toward caring for others, and they'll care for us, and we need to care for ourselves. So, but if I was going on a fast, let's say I was going to do a 7-day water fast for spiritual awakening, what herbs would I take? You know, you've mentioned there yellow dock, slippery elm. Well, yeah, yellow dock is a great herb, great kidney, liver herb, great for the blood. Slippery elm is great for healing inflammation in the gut. It's a powder from the elm tree, and it's a mucilaginous herb, so it creates soft mucus, which is great for healing internal tissues. Great herb. I'm not sure about yellow dock. I think if I was going on a water fast, you know, I suppose you'd want livers to support or herbs to support the kidneys, the liver, gallbladder. Parsley is a great herb for the kidneys. Parsley. And milk thistle is great for the liver. I would also want the nervous system herb, because if you're on a fast, you're going to be potentially irritable at times. And you want some herbs like valerian, possibly passion flower, lemon balm. I'm a big fan of herbs for mental health, of course, and they're all the mental health herbs. So, you know, I'd love to know more about, you know, why you want to go on a 40-day fast. Where are you spiritually, and what do you hope to get out of this? I would say it's important to meditate for 40 days. Important to be self-compassionate for 40 days. Sometimes we can do fasting that can be quite hard on the body. You know, so just be conscious of fasting needs to build us and encourage us to become more compassionate. If we're spiritually awakened but we're not compassionate, then maybe that's not a good thing. So, have you tried Glauco or Cala? No, I haven't actually heard of those. For cancer, I'm sure. Do you know anything about Provanax supplement? I've heard it's very good for stress. No, haven't heard that, but I'm sure it's a combination of different herbs. I'll check that out after. I'm sure I have these comments to look at later. Provanax. Sana, how do bitter experiences make us free? I think you said it before, or I misheard you. How do bitter experiences make us free? Well, maybe if you summarize that bitter experiences or bitter emotions are the ones we don't want to experience, so we avoid them. So if you think of one situation that you don't want to experience, which, you know, is a painful experience, and you avoid it, then you're not free. You're trapped. You're tied to that pain. So let's say when I was 7, I was on the stage doing a school play, and I was singing. Not something I would have done, but imagine it. And I didn't sing very well, and all the boys started laughing. And then I never went on stage afterwards. I got stage fright or trauma from that event of being humiliated in public. So that's a bitter experience. 20 years later, I'm asked to go on stage, and I say, no, I don't want to experience that again. Unconsciously, we'll avoid things unconsciously. It's not the conscious mind. It's the unconscious mind that is shaping choices we make today. So there's a lot that we're not aware of. At a psychological, emotion level, it's the idea of bitterness and freedom it's really about fear and freedom. It's the things that we fear that determine where we go to avoid feeling fear or feeling this vulnerability. And that's what it is. It's a vulnerability. And there's a lot of support now for feeling vulnerable as an important way to be free. I'm vulnerable tonight. I'm vulnerable coming up here, setting up this live stream, talking to people, some I know, some I don't know. I don't know everything about herbal medicine, so I feel vulnerable that, you might think oh, he's not very good. He doesn't know everything. I asked him something he didn't know, or I didn't like his answer. That's okay. I mean, I don't know everything. And that's a vulnerability. To say that I don't, well, to say I don't know everything is okay. I'm confident in that. But I do feel vulnerable that I don't know everything. That could make me avoid doing a live stream or making a video. It's not important to know everything. My approach is to guide people, support people, and help people. Empowering medicine was one of my mottos early on. Before I set up Mental Health Herbalist, I used to use the phrase empowering medicine to empower people to heal themselves. So I hope that helps. Skullcap, Mugwort, and Damania. Damania is not a herb I use very much. I have it actually. I think it's good for sugar cravings, good for male health as well. Skullcap, I love it. If you think of the head, it's a great herb. It's a great nervous system herb for the head. Skullcap puts a cap on your skull. It actually does. That's what I experience. As much as I've been talking tonight a lot about overthinking, I'm an overthinker. And so some of my body work, meditation, herbal medicine has helped me to cope and change and grow and think less. And skullcap is a great herb for people like me that are stressed or anxious due to thoughts. So skullcap is a great head herb to relax the nervous system, particularly in the head area. Mugwort is another herb that I have here in a dried form for making teas, and it's a great herb for cleansing toxins. It's not a herb I know enough about, but it's great for removing heavy toxins, heavy metals. It has spiritual connotations as well, in that it's a herb that has spiritual values, in that it's a herb that can either cleanse spiritual energies or open up spiritual energies. And not something I know a lot about in terms of my work, but I've heard that, and something I need to know more about. Any experience with Canna Tursum? Daryl, is it Daryl Nugent? No, sorry, I don't. Tell me more. What is it? C60 is pretty cool. I'm not sure what C60 is. I was wondering, I was looking for a list of copied for guru herbs. I'm not sure what you mean by guru herbs. Social worker 63, I feel with this pandemic, the divide that the lockdown has created along the protests have caused me, rather the empath in me, also to feel negative and upset and not productive. Okay, I can hear you in that. You know, it's we're very much shaped by global energies, you know, political forces. Divide and the lockdown. Well, the lockdown has divided us socially. You know, we're separated from each other, and then the protests have caused me to, you know, the protests. Well, the protests have been important because I would support the Black Lives Matter movement. I think nobody should have to experience racism or discrimination because of their color of skin or their language. Irish people were discriminated in the UK in the 50s and 60s and 70s. So Irish people know what it's like to be discriminated, to be the minority, and that's why we have a tradition of being compassionate towards minorities, but we are struggling with that in our own country. I think when we're an empath, I'm also an empath, so we begin to feel other people's pain and their emotions. So that can affect us. So we need to protect ourselves. I think empaths need to spend all of their time protecting themselves. It sounds like a contradiction. If you're an empath, you know, you want to be out helping people. It's actually the opposite. Empaths have a natural way of connecting with others, and therefore you need. And I know this for myself. You have to spend more time cleansing and protecting your energy, your chakras, your psychic, from what's called psychic vampires, people that drain us, energies that drain us, negative energies, And I feel a lot of energies in this home. We live near the hospital, and I often think, I experience, and I've had an experience where I was in bed one night, and it was like this whole spirit came through my body, and my whole body was tingling, vibrating, and I had a sense of a spirit at the end of the bed. It was a woman in her 50s or 60s. But I've never been afraid of that. I've never, tried to block that. I'd kind of welcome that. But as empaths, we need to spend all our time cleansing, protecting our chakras, our energies, using crystals, candles, incense. Water is really good for me. I use a lot of water, showers. I run the shower in my head for maybe 10, 15 minutes just here, this part here on my head. And that helps. So social worker 63, you need to find more ways to protect your energy, and all empaths need to work using herbs as well, but particularly protecting yourself from bad energies. Contradicting myself, but energies that drain us. We can't be constantly available to others, to other spirits as well that may be in the air, in the atmosphere, or in our lives that are part of our lives that we're not even aware of. Sana, so what would a person who's made fun of guys do after 20 years? Does he still remember the way he was made fun of by those guys or on stage? So Sana just asked me about that stage analogy I gave. But what do you do? So the only way if I was that 8-year-old on stage and I was made fun of, and I'm carrying that trauma for 20 years, and now I kind of becoming aware that, let's say I'm at work and somebody asks me, to talk in front of a group. So that's like stage, or even at a meeting where you have to ask a question. That can feel like a stage, because suddenly you ask a question and the attention comes to you. And so you avoid asking questions in public. You can avoid so many situations as a result of avoiding that stage experience. So you don't want to experience the pain, the humiliation. So you have to heal the trauma. So trauma, the body is carrying a trauma at a physical level, at an emotion level, not just at a head level. And you have to find ways to heal that. And one of the ways is talking therapies, talking through with somebody that can help you understand, and then start to experiment with talking in public. So you're going to experience the anxiety that you experienced when you were a child. That flashback will come. Some people call it exposure therapies, but it's not. I don't want people to expose themselves to vulnerability if you're very vulnerable, but to practice in a safe environment with a therapist, or using art, or using music, or even when I start making videos first, I'm not a natural public speaker. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. So all these things can go against you and can, make it harder to push yourself out there. But by practice, it has got easier. And I was very casual tonight coming to this, too casual maybe. But spiritual work, deepening your sense of self, using meditation, constantly working on yourself at a deeper level. So Kana Slim Torsum, don't know, that sounds like a Latin term, I'm not sure. Social work 63, more spiritually, I feel very distanced and not connected. Hence the need to fast and restart. Okay, so I think it's good to do things for a period of days. I like to use the analogy of 100 days. 100 days. So this is like, what do we do to heal that trauma, or to heal today from whatever we need to heal? And early on, somebody mentioned about ashwagandha for OCD, and after 2 days, it didn't help. So healing is slow, and we need to commit to a journey where we stick to the journey, the discipline. And that's where 100 days or 40 days is classic biblical number, I suppose. Jesus fasted for 40 days. But if you take 100 days as a period of time, it's roughly 12 weeks, 3 months, and discipline yourself to do 1 or 2 new things in that period of time. Protect your energy, or do meditation, or grounding. Grounding is a very important thing as well for empaths. Grounding, being in the forest, being around nature. And the thing I didn't mention actually is affecting us always is the EMFs, the electromagnetic fields that are so they're so everywhere. I mean, in this computer here in front of me, there are electromagnetic fields that are connecting with my own energy field, and in the mobile phone as well, and maybe in the light and the router for the Wi-Fi. And we need to try and block them and try and find new ways. I'll come back to that later about the electromagnetic fields, because it's something I'm really interested in at the moment. But just in terms of social work 63, about 40 days. So, like, we can do something for 40 days, but it mightn't reconnect us. So do small things. I think compassion for me has gratitude and compassion are 2 of my most important guides. You know, if I'm not compassionate, if I find myself judgmental of others, I know spiritually I'm out of whack. No matter what my head says that I'm a spiritual person, no. If I'm not being compassionate, I'm out of whack. I'm in my ego. So in my 100 days or my 40 days, I would want to come back to practice compassion. Always come back to compassion. Avoid judgment. Judgment will lead us in riddles and mazes of trouble where we get trapped. So compassion is a great measure of healing. You know, if we're not compassionate, then work on compassion. Compassion to self, compassion to others. And with that is non-judgmental and gratitude. Practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude it fuels compassion. You know, if we're grateful, we'll see positive things. We'll support positive things. So what we need to do to grow spiritually is find where's our weakness? Why are we disconnected from ourselves? How do we reconnect? The other weakness in our spiritual journey is if our trigger foods, if we're eating a lot of our trigger foods like sugar or alcohol or chocolate or too much bread or too much processed food, too much salty food. Whatever your trigger food is, if you're eating too much of your trigger food, then it's a sign that you're out of whack spiritually. So we've got to find balance. Extremes don't always help us heal. So we've got to go from, you know, physically well, emotionally well, psychologically well. We need to have movement every day. We need to have grounding every day, cleansing every day, nurturance every day, social connection every day. So depending on what area in your life is weak, spend your 40 days focusing on that and monitoring it. So South African SSRI medicine, yeah. Darryl, I'm not sure. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll have to check it out. There's so many herbs. There are thousands of herbs. Probably, you know, I work with probably around 50, and there are probably 100 that I'm aware of. But there are hundreds, thousands of herbs, plant medicines. I'm learning new ones all the time. So, yeah, I've got to take it one day at a time. Definitely, one day at a time helps you stay grounded. I feel I'm judging and see how I'm feeling to judge on. Yeah, okay, one day at a time. Mickey Morgan, big YouTube follower of mine. Thank you for all your support and comments, Mickey. Do you know any plant that can help the remyelination of the demyelinated nerves from cobalt poisoning and Parkinson's? I would think that evening primrose oil or borage oil would be 2 of the best for, you're talking about the myelin sheet. The nervous system has this covering. the nerves have this covering, the myelin sheet, and gets damaged from various things like cobalt in this case, leading to Parkinson. So definitely evening primrose and borage oil. I did a video there recently. I think you've seen it. Amina 201, what is your opinion on the best herb to activate energy, focus, and motivation? Good question. I don't have any anxiety at all. I'm searching for something that gets me moving, more motivated with work and family. So the best herb for activate energy, focus, or motivation. There's different herbs for different people, depending what is affecting your motivation. If your motivation is psychological at a head level, and you're not motivated, or you could be physically deflated, physically tired, and you're not motivated, physically you're lacking motivation. Spiritually, you could be lacking motivation. You could be lacking love and motivation, care for others. You could be just burnt out. So there's lots of different factors that affect different people. So they will need different herbs and different approaches. So it depends really, activating energy. I would think about the kidneys. The kidneys are a very important organ in energy processing. They have so many different functions. But if our kidneys are stagnant, it can affect our energy. One of the great ways to kickstart energy, and this might be good for you, which is the lemon juice. Squeeze a lemon juice in warm water in the morning. So drinking lemon juice in water in the morning is one of the things supposed to activate the kidneys, kickstart them to start their work, and that may help. Other than that, ashwagandha is a great herb for anyone that's burnt out, stressed, that needs to be remotivated. You need to take it for 6 to 12 weeks, and it can help you to find balance. Energies work at a very subtle level, nudging us in the right direction. They don't always, they're not always hugely explosive in their impact. They're subtle. So you need to take them gradually and slowly. Ginseng is a great energy herb. For women, you need herbs, like black cohosh. Shatavari could be a really good herb for any woman in their 40s or 50s who's unmotivated. It's a great hormonal balancing herb. So hope that helps. Thanks, Animat 201. So there's no more questions there. God, we're a long way into this. We're an hour and 20 minutes into this. We've had covered lots there. I hope it's been useful. I hope you found this useful. I'll do more regular live streams. Probably be more organized the next time and bring questions that people drop in the comments on different videos. Or I could bring issues that I'm working on in terms of videos I'm preparing. I'm currently working on a course, an online course for herbs for mental health, and I'm going to put that up on Udemy, the website, the online learning platform. And I hope to do more videos around that. So I'm planning the course at the moment, and I'm really enjoying the research. I'm getting deeper into the scientific research around what is it that affects our anxiety levels and the GABA. Thanks, Darrell. There's made one of those contributions. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So, Mickey, oh yes, does Kratom have any nutritional value? Yes, I have a great video on my channel, Kratom, 100 facts about Kratom. I used to get a lot of questions about Kratom because it was in America where the opiate epidemic was still is. People were finding Kratom helpful. It has these alkaloids that work on the opioid system in terms of, reducing the withdrawal effects, people coming off heroin and various drugs, pain-killing drugs. And so I did a video on it, and I have used it myself. I think it's a great, powerful herb. Nutritionally, I'm sure it does. I don't know the nutritional value, but I'll find out. I think the main value it has is it's calming on the nervous system. It's good for anyone that has, real pain issues, deep pain issues, nervous system, muscular issues. So it would definitely help. Hope that helps, Vicky. Thanks so much. Great channel. Much needed in our world today. That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So listen, thank you everybody for joining me tonight on this first of many live streams. There is something about feeling more connected with my community on YouTube, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this live stream. Sometimes I put up a video and it gets maybe 200 or 300 views, and you don't feel connected with people, or maybe you're not meeting people's needs. A lot of the videos I make are not for, immediate consumption. You might be following me or a YouTube subscriber for many years, but I could make a video about Crohn's disease. It doesn't, affect your interest, and you just know it's there if you ever need it. So I know that's a factor in my channel. It's not like I'm a vlogging channel. I'm trying to assess, how to make my channel grow and how to make content for people. I'm trying to make better content, but I'm also trying to connect better, build a community. So I'm not sure if I should do more vlogs, more live streams. I think I should really make this channel, whatever I want it to be, because YouTube is just a platform. They actually took down a video of mine recently. First video I've ever had deleted from YouTube was 15 herbs that were antiviral. And because in the description I had used Stephen Brunner's reference to COVID-19, assuming that these herbs are going to solve the COVID-19 or help, they took it down because I was in breach of their terms and conditions, which is anything that contradicts World Health Organization guidelines. But however, World Health Organization also acknowledges that 80% of the world population use herbs because they don't have access to Western medicine, and maybe they're better off in some ways. Not in every way. There are lots of good things in Western medicine. But so YouTube is not a place for total freedom, and I have to be conscious and careful of the content I make. And I'm conscious that when I make videos, I try not to be too critical of Big Pharma. I try to be educational as best I can, and maybe find other ways to increase awareness. And maybe Udemy will be one of those opportunities. So thanks for everybody there. Thanks, Martin. Enjoyed the show. Lovely. Thank you, everybody. So look, thank you for being here tonight. Much appreciated. And I'll see you all very soon. Okay. Have a good rest of your weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.